All right, what is going on today, chat? Grade review episode 16 up on deck. This one is pretty chock full with a bunch of different other people. This one I think today has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different submissions that we get to go through today. So if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Galaxia Gaming, and every Wednesday from 7 to about 10 or 11, we go over what's called grade review, where we review community members' cards for free from our Discord, where I give my assessment on what I think the card would get graded, as well as having chat weigh in as well. It's a completely free service. If you want to know more, I'll explain more after we go through Poke Mopo's submission for today to start things off. And I will kind of just kick it right off. Yeah, and I appreciate the good vibes. And for those of you who are enjoying the content, anything like shares, and follows really does mean a lot. It allows me to kind of push this idea out there. And again, it's something I like to provide to the community for absolutely no charge. It's something I really enjoy doing, and we are going to get right into it. So first off, we have Slowking from Aquapolis. So for those who are new, I'm just going to kind of start off by kind of going over the four main things that I like to look for. So for grading, you need to look at four different criteria: is corners, edges, surface, and centering. So right off the bat with e-readers, Rose, how's it going? For e-readers, it's a little bit different. Obviously with the border on the left as well as the bottom, there's obviously going to look very off center, right? So my rule of thumb is just to stick with the top and the left. So from this perspective, the top to the right looks pretty good. So centering on the front is, within reason. So we're chilling. So corners, I just go counterclockwise. It doesn't really matter what direction you go. I just have always gone counterclockwise. It's just ingrained in my memory now. But corners are really good. Again, Aquapolis, this was back in 2002, so really impressive so far. Really good condition so far. So let's take a look at the text. So text is good, and if anyone does see anything that I'm not mentioning in stream, you are more than welcome to say, hey, I saw something in the top left or bottom right. Can you go back? Because that's another positive part of this stream and this grade review is you guys might see something I missed. So definitely, if you see something, say something for sure. Kevin, thanks so much for following the live. I appreciate that. But the Slowking, first off, big chillin' on this rock. Like, he is straight vibes all day. Wednesday vibes going hard. And Jojo, thanks so much for the follow. I don't know if these are scratches or not. You can kind of see, so kind of top left corner of this circle. I don't know if those are scratches or not, but we'll have to keep note of that. But other than that, this card is in very good condition. So let's flip it on over. Rob, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate it. All right, so the front so far is in really, really good shape. So let's take a look on the top edge. Looks good. There is some slight whitening on the left. Power, yeah, for sure. The back is definitely going to be dragging this card back for sure. A little bit of whitening on that left corner. So as we kind of go down, there's some whitening there as well. Let's see. And some of these, based off of how the angle of the picture was taken and the lighting and everything, we have some of that to consider too. Because we really only have, for most of these, it's only a picture, one of the front, one of the back. So that is something that we have to consider. Jackson, I also agree. The centering on the back is really good. It's just the whitened corners and edges that's really kind of taken this back. So we have a few dots in that left corner as well. We have some, what I kind of like to call little fuzzies. In most cases, if these are like cardboard fuzzies or whatnot. Hey, Betty, how's it going? Nice to see you in chat. Appreciate you. Now, if you just have like a microfiber cloth, you can just get rid of those pretty easily. So I'm not going to be fixated on those too much. We do have some whitening on the bottom there. And a little bit there as well. But all in all, a really good looking card. Worked extra today. Today was interesting. It kind of like went all over the place. Tried some different advertising techniques, but I'll get to that in a second. So yeah, so now some of you might be wondering where the chat voting portion comes in. So what's really nice is that we have a function that we can use for polling chat. So there should be a poll active on your device now. It should be in the top left-hand corner of your device to allow you to vote. So how it works is whatever the average is in chat, I have that be the chat grade. So if you want your vote to count, make sure to vote in that poll now. And as you guys are doing that, I'm going to kind of catch up with chat real quick. Give you guys a second. So again, here is the front of the Slowking, and there is the back. Most of the back, I'll probably just leave it on the back. Most of the damage imperfections on there. So let me just catch up with chat. But yeah, today was pretty good, Betty. I had all my raw footage from the convention get uploaded, so that's good. I just have to start editing that this weekend. But one of you guys was able to find that PSA Poppy guy that I was talking about, who is also on TikTok and Instagram, if you want to check him out. You already kind of have a sneak peek of what I look like, so very mysterious. But yeah, hopefully I should have that coming soon. And then I have VOD 14. It's Poppy, so P-A-P-I-I though. I think it's 2 I's. Yes, I lost my train of thought. But anyway. Alright, so let us see. So you guys, on average, are thinking that this is going to be an 8, which is actually pretty fair. So now I kind of weigh in on what I think this Slowking would get. So the front of this card is in impeccable shape for sure. Centering is on point based off of what you can measure for centering on an Aquapolis e-reader card. So really it's just the back. And from what I can tell, because I've seen these like kind of like white and glowed edges. I think that's just because how the picture was taken. Because I've seen this a few times in our grade review, and with the people who show us what they get back on the PSA scans, these are pretty much non-existent. So I'm just going to chalk that up to just how the picture was taken. But really the only things that I notice, we have 1, 2, very, very slight 3, 4, 5 as well. White specks that I see. And then everything else kind of on the surface, I think can just be removed with a microfiber cloth in my opinion. But I think for this Slowking, you have a really good shot, I believe, at an 8. So I think you guys are also right on the mark as well. But again, for an Aquapolis card, hollow especially, this is, again, that's what's one thing you'll notice about Poke, is that he definitely takes really good care of his cards, or whoever he got them from took very good care of them. Nate Sass, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate you. So yeah, so this Slowking gets an 8 for me, and then chat also gives an 8. So next up, we're just going to keep on keeping on, because we got a lot of cool cards to go through today. So next up, we have the Nidoking. I think of all, no, it's actually the 3 cards, I believe. Leaf Ocean, this is super informative. How can we send you our card picture? So I am happy to announce that I have a video queued that will teach you exactly how to do this once I'm done per person submission. I do have some moderators that might be able to tell you throughout the stream, but just to make it a little bit more streamlined, at the end of every person's submission, I'll run that video. It's only like a 30-second video, so I'll make sure to run that for you, because in this submission we have from Poke, we have 4 more. So definitely hold tight, because I know you're not going to be the only one that asks. So I appreciate you hanging out. Lips, thanks so much for sharing the live. Appreciate you. All right. So Nidoking from Aquapolis. So one thing I've noticed right off the rip, I don't know if you guys see this. This looks like a hollow swirl, but on steroids. Look how crazy that pattern. I have never seen a pattern look like that before. It literally almost looks like a swirl, but it's like inflated. That looks so sick. That looks really cool, especially like with the near the Nidoking's arm. It almost looks like it's like charging up an attack. So if you've never been here before, I am an absolute sucker when it comes to hollow swirls. I absolutely love them, and if they're in a really cool looking spot, oh, it's just amazing. I love this. This is really cool. But anyway, stop nerding out by hollow swirls, and I gotta get into it. Rudy, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate you. So the same thing like the Slowking. The centering and the edges are on point. Very, very good. Let's see. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this front part. Hopefully it's the same on the back, but because I think these little specks are part of the artwork from what it looks like. So, but the front of this is amazing. Yeah, the back is where it's not bad. Don't get me wrong, but it's the back that seems like it's been taking us back, no pun intended, on what the potential grade could be. Take, thanks so much for sharing the live. Appreciate you. Okay, so centering again is pretty good. Top left, top right, and top corners and edges are on point so far. So again, I'm just gonna leave my mouse here just to kind of give an example. So the 3 dots that are within this magnified area, in my opinion, can most likely be removed by a microfiber cloth. So unless those are abrasions on the actual cardstock, I think you should be able to get rid of those white dots, no problem. But really the only thing notable, because again, I'm more chalking up this white glow as how the picture was taken. So I'm really, because you can kind of see it a little blurry there. So I'm just going to say that that's probably pretty good. I will say that there is a little white dot there on that edge. There's some in the bottom left-hand corner as well. There's a little hair you can probably get rid of. Again, a little white dot that you can probably get rid of with a microfiber, as well as there. But yeah, this is really good condition. So let me start a new poll for you guys. So a new poll should be active for the Nidoking from Aquapolis. So while you guys are voting, the thing should be in the top left. I don't even know what it looks like. To be honest, I think it looks like a little like notepad, I believe. But this is the front of the Nidoking, and that is the back. So I'll let you guys vote as I catch up with chat. Lips, what's your Discord name? Because it's so funny because everyone's like TikTok name is different from their Discord name. Because it sounds like, based off how you're reacting, is you're up tonight. Young Godfather. Unless your name is also different in Discord. Did I message you today? The Tina and Lugia. Because I had a Giratina queue today that was Japanese. But once I'm done with this person's submission, Kevin, I'm gonna show you a video on how to do it. Because you're not gonna be the only person that asks, so once we finish up with this. We have, so this one, for this person, we have 3 more. But one of them's modern, so I don't spend as much time on modern. Take, thanks so much for following the live. Appreciate it. Alright, so on average, you guys are thinking 9. So it's actually not too bad. Alright, so what am I thinking this Nidoking would get? So, again, besides me fantasizing over this insane looking, like, almost looks like a super swirl, this card in the front is perfect. So let's flip it over. So I'm thinking that some of you might be seeing, again, this like slight whitened hue on the left side. I just think personally, just from the amount of pictures that I've done this with and seen, and some of the submissions that have come back, more often than not, this is just a camera illusion or how the picture was taken. So really the only notable parts of whitening that I can tell is right here where the tip of my mouse is, one here in the bottom left-hand corner. And other than that, everything else can probably be removed. Like these little white dots, I'm assuming can be removed with a microfiber cloth. So I'm not going to deduct any points for surface in that regard. So I think just how clean the front is and how very little damage and how well the centering is on the back. Honestly, I'm kind of right there with you guys. To be honest, I think a 9 is pretty strong. If I have to put an asterisk, is if we can remove some of those white dots. But if you can't, then it is what it is. But from what we can tell in a picture, it looks like they can be removed. How will people know if you are going to review their cards during a particular stream? So I notify everyone well in advance that their cards are queued. So again, I'll run the video, but I base it off of like an emoji like status marker. So like certain emojis will tell you like if I've seen it, if it's up for stream tonight, but I'll also DM you. I DM, since there's at least 13 people for tonight, I DM'd so many people today that Discord thought I was a bot. And so I had to answer like all these ASCII questions because I just like copy and paste the same thing. It was like I was just doing it so much today that people thought I was a bot. But yeah, I'll send you a message. I'll do all that stuff. So Steph, thanks for the follow. And Wicked, hey, how's it going, Wicked? Appreciate you sharing the live. And Floaty, thanks so much for the follow. Yeah, of course. And like I said, we have 1, 2, 3 more for Poke Mopo's submission, and then I'll run the video for anyone who wants to know how to submit these. Again, it's a completely free service, but I'll make sure I run those once I get a point to pause. All right, so next up we have the Espeon. Actually, funny enough, going back to the convention that I was at this weekend, I picked up the reverse holo of this Espeon. A super pretty card. The artwork is amazing. I love the contrast. But anyway, enough nerding out. Let's get right into it. So the only thing I can see, maybe slightly thicker, because again, I'm really only looking for the top and the right in terms of centering. Very, 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 very slight difference between the right side and the top, but not too bad. Corners looking really good. Again, the text looking really good. There's no dings or nicks that I can tell. Beautiful looking card. Not seeing anything wrong with the front, so hoping, fingers crossed, that it's like that on the back. And honestly, really good condition. Again, this is at a slight angle, so you can kind of tell that this picture is at a slight angle just by looking at the bottom. So I mentioned this on the Slow King and the Nidoking, both Kings. It's kind of funny, I didn't realize that just now. But Kevin, top right or top left on the front of the back. Sorry, I just caught that last minute. Brittany Tears, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate it. But let's see. That can be probably removed, that little white dot on the left edge. That one also. The little dashes. Yeah, I'm thinking most of these, Kevin, in my opinion, just based off of what I've seen, because it's tough because I don't think Poke is in here yet. Oh, well, I'm glad you realized, Brittany. I appreciate it. I think based off of how the angle of the picture is, because I've seen this on a few cards that have actually gone through the submission process and then come back. I think this is just how the picture was taken, that it has like, it almost looks like a white hue or like a white glow. So it's kind of tough. Like, I'm right there with you. I don't know if that's edgeware or not, but I've seen enough pictures where I think it's not, because of just how the picture, like how the angle is. But oh, look at that, Poke is right here. How's it going, Poke? You get to answer the question we're trying to solve now that you're here. Whenever you get settled in, I'll put you on the spotlight. But anyway, but the bottom is really good. That bottom right hand corner is really good, and maybe a little white dot here, but that's about it. Yeah, again, a beautiful Espeon. So let me run the poll real quick. Again, I'm kind of, hey Dreamscythe, how's it going? Nice to see you in chat. All right, so poll is active. If you guys want to vote in the poll, it should be on the top left-hand corner of your device. So give that a shot if you want to vote there. Horizontal line lower on ball. Let's see. So I'm assuming you're talking about the Pokeball. Horizontal line, lower on ball. I honestly don't see it, my man. It's not that I don't believe you. I'm having a hard time finding it, to be honest. Unless anyone else sees it. That might be it too. If you're talking about this, like under where it would be like the 2002 Pokemon Nintendo, that's standard across all e-readers right here. But that might be it. Yeah, Poke, if you're in here, we do have a question for you. But it's no worries. I know you kind of drive around every now and again, so definitely don't text and drive. You should put grid numbers, letters like chess battleship, so we can point stuff out easily. Oh, gotcha. My phone. It's all good. It's all good. I wonder how many people have done that. Honestly, that's probably like the first time I've even thought that was a possibility. Legion and Bizarre, thanks so much for the follow. But Samson, that's actually a pretty good idea. I'll have to mess around with some Photoshop later. Test that out to see. That's a good idea. Eye tracker would be a funny gimmick. Oh god. Yeah, I feel like I would yeah. I feel like that would be very funny. Just like you look, because I'm literally thinking like I look at all the corners and all the edges and like all over the place, so it just looked like it would be so chaotic. Just see my eyeballs just going everywhere across a card, or just like focusing on a swirl or something, or like how I kind of highlight with my mouse. I'm just like spinning furiously with my eyes and just getting myself dizzy. All right, so you guys are thinking 7 or 6, and my apologies, I should have got rid of that from the Nidoking. Okay, so what am I thinking this Espeon from Aquapolis would get? So again, the front of this card is in absolutely amazing condition. There's really not even much to talk about. The only thing that I saw, like, but I don't even think that's that big of a deal, or if it's just a camera illusion, is that the right side of this might be slightly thicker than the top, but I think it's still within the 10 range. But on the back, again, unless Poke can kind of speak on this card, I think this kind of like white edge hue, I think it's just because of how the the picture was taken, because we saw that on the Slowking and the Nidoking, and it's also at an angle. So I don't think that that's like as whitened of an edge as we are led to believe, just from doing these so often. Elian, we're actually doing a grade review. We're assessing community members' cards for free, giving our opinion on what they would get for a PSA grade. And so some of these like little white dots as well, I believe, can just be removed with a microfiber cloth. So considering that this most likely isn't edgeware, just based off of how the picture is taken, really the only thing that I see with this card potentially is this white speck on the bottom and in the bottom right hand corner. So I'm thinking just, I guess, to be more conservative, because I really can't say with 100% accuracy on whether or not, like, how much of this is whitening or not whitening, I'd probably give it an 8. But it's kind of tough just by the angle, because I've seen this so many times that the edges like look to be super bad, but then when someone actually submits them to PSA and the PSA scans come back in, that's totally gone. So it's kind of a tough call based off of that picture, but I'm obviously not going to tell Poke, hey, stop, pull over and tell us what if that's damage or not. So yeah. But again, that Espeon is so nice looking. So let me catch up real quick. Legion, I saw you. Bizarre, thanks so much for the follow. Amy, thanks so much for the follow. Bliss, I think I saw you come back. Welcome. All right. So another fan favorite, the classic, you know him, you love him, is the Gengar. And then more specifically, the Sabrina's Gengar. So for those, I have seen some new people in chat, so it's always fun to kind of talk about this. So if you've ever seen the Japanese version of this card, it's actually censored in the United States when compared to Japanese, because the Japanese variant, it actually has tombstones in the background. And so us as kids over in the United States, we're too young to know what tombstones are and all that. So we had to get censored. We weren't old enough to know what a tombstone was. But in Japan, they're old enough. So that's why if you look hard in the background, and this angle makes it really tough, but you can still kind of see the silhouette of some of the tombstones, but it's not as apparent. Because, you know, that was the easiest way for them to get rid of it back in, you know, 98, 1999, 2000. So yeah, let's get right into the Sabrina's Gengar. We have, like I said, for those of you who are new here, I have a video at the end that I'll show before I go into the next on how to submit for free. Try to streamline that how-to process a little bit more, so I appreciate you hanging tight. Okay, so centering on this card is actually really good, and the corners are as well. I am, however, noticing a little bit more scratches this time around than I have for the Slowking, the Nidoking, and the Espeon. So if I kind of use this hover magnifier tool, so we can see one right there, I'm kind of highlighting it with my mouse, as well as in the bottom left and the bottom right. But they're all very, very small. One by the hand as well, but very, very small scratches. Not a lot to write home about. The back is a little bit more straight on. And let's see. So in the top right, we do have a little bit of a white speck there. But other than that, this card is really good. This one's a little bit more straight on, though, compared to the other ones. And you can kind of see, again, like, you don't see that, like, white hue. But we do see some very, very slight whitened specks in the bottom left, but really good. All right, let's see what you guys think. So new poll has started for Sabrina's Gengar. So if you want to weigh in on what you think it's going to be, there is the front of the Sabrina's Gengar, and then there is the back. So again, that poll should be active now. Do I need a whole microscope to determine if my card is a PSA 10 or not? It all depends on how seriously you take it. You don't need it, but depending on the volume and depending on if you can spot those little imperfections with the naked eye, because PSA, Beckett, CGC will have microscopes. So a good rule of thumb is if you want to do your best at grading, you should definitely use the same tools if you do it a lot. That's kind of my rule of thumb. Dakota, I have a first edition Dark Blastoise. You're thinking it can get at a 9. Nice. That's a pretty penny if you can get it as a 9 as first ed. Hopefully it's hollow. But alright, so chat thinks. What do you guys think? You guys think 9. Thinking 9 on the Sabrina. So what I'm thinking for the Sabrina's Gengar, the centering's good, corners are good. I am seeing, however, those scratches that I was talking about. So we see 1, 2, 1 by the hand, up in the top right. Very, very faint, I will say. It's not bad, but they are there. We also see some whitening on the top right corner. And on the back, the centering is really good. Edges are really good. I don't think, just based off the scratches on the hollow, I don't think it would get the 9. But I do think it would get an 8, though, in my opinion. But Bizarre, I have a Gengar VMAX altered I want to send out to Beckett. That's awesome. Well, hopefully everything goes well, because that would be pretty sick. Gengar VMAX is definitely going up there in popularity and in price. There's a lot of crazy card prices going around right now. So hopefully you get on the right side of the submission that you want. All right, so last up for Poke, before I do a quick video tutorial on how you can submit your cards for free in the Discord for a future grade review, we're going to look at this Mew EX from Paldean Fates. So the one thing that I do for modern cards specifically is I tend to go a little bit faster, only because it's assumed that you guys aren't damaging these cards immediately after opening them. So the main things I'm really looking for is whether or not it would get a 10, because that's with modern, most people are just asking whether or not it would get a 10, so that's just kind of my assumption. So so I have actually a ruler. Let me pull that out now. You won't be able to see it on stream, but I do have one on the monitor that I literally I press it right up against the monitor, and let's see. So the top is just shy of a 1/4 inch, and then the bottom is also just shy of 1/4 inch. So centering looks good on the front. So let me take a look on the back. Let's see. I think this white speck might be on the background, but I'm not too sure. But the centering, let me measure here. Centering is good. Centering is really good. So I think you have a pretty good shot. If you can, and one thing I just saw, again, microfiber cloth will do you wonders here for just some of like the weird stuff that's kind of sprinkled around, but nothing significant in terms of whitened corners or anything like that. So yeah, this one would probably get a pretty good shot at a 10, as long as you just touch up those edges. So for those of you who have been patiently waiting as I get the next submission queued, I am going to play you guys a video on how to submit to grade review. So here it is. Wish you could get a second opinion on your cards before sending them out to be graded? Curious on what grade your cards might get? If so, submit a picture of your cards in our Discord to be reviewed for free during our grade review live streams. Here's what you need to do. First, go to www.galaxiagamingtcg.com. Second, in the socials section, click or tap on the Discord icon. Third, once redirected to Discord, go through the verification process. Once verified, go to the grade review channel. And finally, review the pinned messages for detailed instructions on how to submit your cards for review. So that's how you do it. So if you guys need more information than that, I can handle it a little bit once we kind of go through and continue on. But that is the whole video on how to join. It's also pinned as well on my profile, so feel free to watch that again if you need to. I agree, Dream. Yeah, the texture, and again, like even like what you're talking about with like the textured cards, we definitely need it. There's too many damn fakes out there. It's crazy. All right, so thank you, Poke, for your submission. So next up we have Satelier, who I was supposed to get last week, but now we are doing this week. Yeah, I agree, Dream. Yeah, the tag team stuff especially was such a cool concept for sure. Really did a good job on that. And then before I start, I do appreciate everyone who has liked and shared and followed the live as well. It really does mean a lot. Again, I do this as a free service. Just something to give back to the community. I always like talking shop with you guys. So any of that support is really appreciated. Helps kind of spread the word as well. So always appreciate you guys, and let's get right into it. So the Malo and Lena. So let's take a look at this. So the centering actually is really good so far from what I can tell. No obvious corner dings or anything like that, so we'll just flip it over. And this card is in really good shape. Wow, that is really impressive. Honestly, this is huge based off of what I'm seeing. Unless we can't get rid of some of these like white specks, but I would imagine you can. I don't see why you couldn't. Let's see. But yeah, really good, really clean card there, honestly. Honestly, I don't even think we really need much review. I think this one's just like, will it get the 10 or not? The centering, I'm measuring it right now. The centering is really good on the back. Centering is really good on the front. I see no obvious scratches or dings or anything like that. It pretty much looks pack fresh, to be honest. The only thing that I see, but I don't know if it's the matte or not, and it looks like it is with the little microscope here. It's right where the tip of my mouse is, but I think that might just be the matte. So I'd say if you can't get rid of these little white specks, you're probably looking at a lower score, but like a 9 maybe. But this actually has a pretty good shot at a 10, in my honest opinion. Alright, next up is Skyla. I think you have 2 Skylas, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so these, although they are the same card, I think they are different. Yes, they are. Okay. Skyla. Let's take a look. This one almost looks like that right side's a little bit thicker than the left, but not by much, though. Let's see. Corners look good. Edges look good. Yeah, the texture on these cards are wild. The back. Ooh, I am seeing some more back issues for sure. I don't know what that is. There's like a piece of gunk or gum or I don't know what that is. It almost looks like it's on, like, kind of like going over into from the mat or something. I don't know if you guys can see that where I'm kind of hovering my mouse, but that's kind of wild looking. XY full arts were so rough. None of my XY air arts are close to 10s. Yeah. Yep. You're definitely not the first person that I've heard say that, that's for sure. Yeah, so I think there's like some gunk on there or something. I don't really know what that is. And then just some like slight surface abrasions on the bottom. Because this alone will take your grade back for sure. Yeah, I'm curious. For those of you who are in chat, I'm gonna start a new poll. I'm curious what you guys think that this card would get, depending on this, like what I'm kind of highlighting right now, because it's definitely on the edge. It's definitely on that right edge. But I don't know what it is. It looks like some like gross something. I don't know what that is, but I don't know. But anyway, while I'm letting you guys vote in chat, how was Indy, by the way? Dream. I didn't really like ask more in depth than that. The event looked sick. The event looked really cool. I saw a bunch of videos from other people who were there, and the event looked really cool. But let's see. But yeah, I think for this Skyla, I think everything is pretty good, other than this random stain. Like whatever that is, I don't really know what that is. But everything else is good. But I would say that this would probably give it a light play status, honestly, if you can't get rid of this. I don't know what that is. So I'd probably say for this one, it'd probably be like a 6 if you can't get rid of that stain, because that's pretty apparent. But if you can, it definitely is significantly improved. But let's look at the next one. He also got a candid shot during one of his rounds, day 2. That's cool. All the players had those candid shots at the table. Oh, that's really cool. That's super fun. Yeah, it's always fun to like go out and to like do community events and stuff. Sounds like you guys had fun. Alright, so the second Skyla. Back-to-back Skylas here. Centering on this looks good. Corners on this look good. Let's flip it on over. I don't know if this is a light illusion based off of how aggressive the flash is, but there is like a bend or something here. I don't know what that is, but it might be a camera illusion, but it does look like it's a little bit of a shadow right here where the picture was taken, as well as some scratches on the bottom. But other than that, because I think if that's because bends like that have a significant impact on a card's condition for sure. That's the other one. 'Cause I've definitely learned that the hard way for sure. So I would say like if that is an actual bend or crease, you're definitely getting knocked back a few pegs for sure. The only way I get passable photos is with the flash. Was this yours? I think these were yours, right, Semi? I'm pretty sure. Is this a bend right here? Well, I'll just kind of leave my mouse without like moving it. But this looks like, based off of like the shadow, yeah. Okay. So if it is a bend, yeah, I know bends because I know for a fact I have one slab that's like the card is in immaculate shape, but it had a bend almost similar to that, but towards the top, and ended up getting a 6 from that bend. But who knows? I don't know if you guys were here last week when we looked at that Shining Mewtwo with a bend in its tail and it ended up getting an 8. So I don't know anymore. I want to say 6, but because of the bend. It's mine, but it's not a bend. Okay, so if it's not a bend, then you're chilling. So if that's not a bend, really the only thing I saw was just some slight scratches on the bottom. Because the front, from what I can tell from this picture, looks pretty good. So I'd say, like, my guess, like, if I had to grade, the centering on both the front and the back is really good on this one. But yeah, it's just like those slight scratches on the bottom. So probably like even like a 8 or like, I don't know if you can get rid of these like little white specks, probably be like a 9. But if you can't, probably be an 8 would be my guess for this one. All right, so the last one for yours was the Charizard from Power Keepers. Really cool. Again, my really big fan of how they used to do reverse hollows back in the day with the set in the bottom corner. So it's always cool to see. So yeah, let's get right into it. So I'm gonna actually measure. Where's my ruler? I'm gonna measure this right side. The right side on first glance looks a bit thicker than the right side. So the left is about a 1/4 inch on my screen. And yeah, just shy of a 1/4 inch on the right. So it's very, very slightly off center, but I don't think it's bad enough. Let me check the top and the bottom too. Top is slightly 1/4. And then the bottom is 1/4 as well. So a little bit, very slightly off center, left to right and bottom to top, but not too bad. Surface looks good. I do see some very, very slight scratches on the hollow itself, like near the neck. So we see some right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, not too bad. But let's flip it on over. So the back, I am seeing some. These look like abrasions to me. So that top part, 1, 2. Some whitening here on that top left-hand corner. Let's see. Some whitening in that bottom right corner. And this also looks like whitening. I don't think that's from the mat that you're taking the picture on. That looks like whitening as well. But yeah, let me put a poll in chat. Let's see what you guys think. There should be a poll active now on the top left of your device if you want to weigh in on what you think this Charizard would get. But yeah, I got some slight scratches near the neck. A little bit off center from the left to the right, and then from the bottom to the top, but not by much. And then on the back, there was some slight surface wear, some slight white corner dings, some bottom right corner dings, and maybe one right here on this right side, but I'm not too sure. But Dark Magician Girl, thanks so much for sharing the live. Appreciate you. But Dream it. I've put a lot of dots together, and you are obsessed with mats. And Pokemon artwork in general, which is awesome. Dumblum, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate you. Alright, so you guys are thinking 8. That's a good guess, honestly. So not 78. Let's do 8. Yeah, I don't know if Betty's in here, but that's that one Slowpoke farm picture was sick looking. That'd be a really cool mat for sure. Okay. So reverse rare Charizard from Power Keepers. What am I thinking? So slightly off center, again from the left to the right, bottom top. Have some scratches by the neck. Not a lot, but we definitely have to consider them for sure. So let's flip it on over. Oh, cool, Betty. That's awesome. Yeah, no worries. Keep on chilling. But really the only thing that I had noticed was we got one possible surface abrasion on the back. 2 here in the top left-hand corner. Possibly some whitening on that top edge as well. Not too sure. Smoke, thanks so much for following the live. Thank you. And then possibly some whitening in that bottom right side, as well as this right-hand side as well. I don't think... Really the big question for me is, like, is it bad enough? Oh, yeah, it's definitely a great binder card for sure, if you're not grading it. I just think, like, if these are actually, like, surface abrasions, like 1, 2, as well as this side 3, whitening 4 in the bottom right, and if I flip it over, like, the very, very slight scratches around the neck and some off-centering, I personally think, like, if all of that is true, I would probably give it a 7. But if it's not, if some of it is not true, then you can probably bump it up an 8. If you can just, like, wipe some of these off with a microfiber cloth, I'm sure you could bump it up a little bit. But just based off of, like, just the corner, like the corner whitening in the top left and the bottom right, and this right edge, from what I can tell, as well as 1 and 2, those surface abrasions, that's kind of what I'm thinking. If you can't get rid of them, you're probably looking at a 7 to be conservative, but if you can, then you could possibly get the 8 for sure. So yeah, so thank you for your submission, Semi. Appreciate that as always. And thanks for being patient with me for getting yours last week. But, oh yeah, for sure, Poke. Actually, I gotta call you something else because there's another Poke in here. I don't want to get you guys confused. Who knows? There we go. I wish I could draw it, but the laptop is dead. Oh man, you didn't get any headway with support. That sucks if you couldn't. Yeah, of course, Semi. Anytime. Did I miss my grades? I don't think so, Jackie. I don't think so. Because we've only gone through Poke, Mopos, we went through semis, and now we're on to zeros. So I don't think so. Oh no, we definitely haven't, Jackie, then. Because I know exactly the ones you're talking about. We have not gone to yours yet. No, it's definitely the GPU. Oh man. I'm sorry to hear that. Is any of these for sale or all sent out for grading? No, so these are all community members. So community members will submit into our grade review Discord channel, where I just review them for free every Wednesday. Just to kind of give you an idea on what they would come back as, or like their potential grade could come back as. So yeah, it's a totally free service. Oh, Poke, how's it going? I couldn't make all what you stated. However, on most of my cards, it's the light box. Gotcha. Yeah, because we were talking about, like, some of the, well, let me know first if you can yeah, you're driving. Yeah. Yeah, there's some that had, like, almost like a white aura, almost looked like the whole left side had, like, whitening issues. but I've just seen pictures like that before, and I don't think that it was a whitening issue. So I was kind of hesitant to call it such. Poke, thanks so much for the hearts. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's what I assumed, Poke. So I kind of gave my assessment based off of that, just because I've seen a few of your pictures that had that, and seeing them like in different angles, I just kind of put 2 and 2 together. It's really awesome. Yeah, awesome, Poke. Well, who knows? I appreciate it. I appreciate the follow. Thanks so much. So no Pokemon for me after this last booster box. Which, what was the last booster box? Oh, you got the, I know, I remember. Because you got, did you get like a Tyranitar? You got like a special edition box or something? If I'm remembering correctly. But anyway, while you type in chat, I am now going to look at Zero's one submission for a beautiful first edition holo Dark Charizard. And boy, howdy chat. There is a swirl that I can tell right on that thick old hip of Charizard there. Because I am a sucker for swirl patterns. That was not me. Well, maybe you can just get lucky and pull like the best chase of the box. And then just pay for your PC, because we all know that you have some of the best luck I've ever seen. So just do that. Just go ahead, pull all the chases, and then just sell them back. Okay. So let's get right into it. I'm actually going to measure the centering real quick on this left side. I'm about to check here in a second, Rob. I'm actually just measuring because based off of what I can tell, I'm just looking at that left edge. It looks a little meaty. So on my screen, and again, I'm literally putting a ruler onto my screen. It's slightly over 1/4 inch. And on that right side, it's slightly under 1/4 inch. So based off of what I can see, it's a little bit thicker on that left side than it is on the right. But again, it could be angle, it could be a bunch of different things. So kind of take it with a grain of salt. So top on my screen is 1/4 inch, and then the bottom is super thick. It's definitely more noticeable. It's definitely over 1/4 inch for sure. So like, who knows is saying it's definitely bottom heavy for sure, based off of the angle that we're seeing it at. So centering is already kind of impacting this a little bit, but let's keep on keeping on. So a few notable scratches. We can see one by the nape of the neck here, where I'm kind of highlighting with my mouse. So we got one there. I'm kind of trying to be slow here. We got one by the tip of the tail. Let's see. Nice swirl pattern again, trying not to get too distracted. But so far, just the scratch by the neck and then the centering is what I've seen so far. So let's flip it over. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not too bad. And that light is making those scratches. I don't know if you guys see that in chat, but let me actually zoom in just a little bit. There, maybe you guys can see that a little bit better. But how the light is postured, these scratches are pretty noticeable based off of that lighting. Dumb, thanks so much for liking the live. Appreciate it. So we see a ton of scratches on the surface here. Being highlighted very well by that light. We also have some pretty noticeable whitening on the top and on the top right, top left. And for whoever just liked the live, I appreciate that. I missed it. Slim, thanks so much for the follow. All right, Jackie, yeah, I'll be doing yours here soon. So hopefully see you soon. And Slim, thanks so much for sharing the live. And who knows, thanks so much for liking the live. Thank you guys, appreciate it. We do have some, so in addition to some whitening on this top right corner, you can also kind of see it kind of curling a little bit too. One thing that I think my humidor is only 2% close, but that might be something you could use for like a humidor, but I have to personally do it on my own cards before I actually talk about it. So definitely stay tuned for sure. But I miss it. Yeah, Jackie, I'll let you know. I'll let you know probably through the VOD. So as long as you have your notifications enabled to receive when I at everybody, you'll know. And then some more whitening on the bottom left and bottom right as well. But yeah, those scratches are pretty apparent. So let's see what you guys think. Let me start a new poll here. So if you guys want to vote on what you think this first edition Dark Charizard would get, poll should be active on your device now. It should be in the top left if you want to weigh in on what you think it would be. So there is the front of the Zard. Again, more of the notable stuff before I give my assessment is on the nape of the neck here. The scratches, a little bit thicker on the left and the bottom. And those are kind of the harder scratches and the whitening. Most of the significant damage is on the back, but as you guys vote, I'm gonna catch up with chat. When mine, Bond says, what's your Discord name? I can tell you where you are in the queue. Rob, thanks so much. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Who knows? It's the back, man. It's the back. It always like really drags this stuff down. We got a Mask of Change box, huh, Betty? Did you end up opening anything out of it or no? Yeah, but if you want to let me know what your Discord name is, I can give you a heads up on where you're at. Goji. So you have, let's see, there are 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 10 more cards ahead of you. Based off my list. I'll pull this weekend probably. Oh, nice. That's sick. Well, you definitely let us know in the Discord when you pull something good. Because I know you will. Alright, so you guys are thinking 5 to 4 on average. Was the majority. But not by much. Okay, so what do I think this beautiful first edition holo Dark Charizard would get? So let's take a look. So again, the centering is a little off on the left and the bottom. And some scratches along the nape of the neck by the jaw. And based off of the back, I can also kind of see slight whitening on that top right-hand corner as well. But as we flip it over, there's some more noticeable whitening and scratches on the back. So kind of leaving my mouse there without jiggling it too much, you can see those scratches are pretty apparent based off of the lighting. The top left is pretty noticeable for whitening. The top right is also noticeably whitened and curling a bit towards the center of the card. Some white specks you can probably just get rid of with a microfiber. But yeah, all 4 corners are in pretty rough shape. So the question really is obviously not near mint or a PSA 7. And it's not bad enough to be a heavy play or a PSA 4. So really, and you guys are kind of right in there. 6 or 5 is probably the most appropriate range. But do I think this would get the 6? I mean, I've seen. I'm trying to think. Like I think 5 is probably appropriate. Because I just have a hard time like accepting that would get a 6, just because I have a few 6s that look much better than this, so I would be hard pressed to think that this would get the 6 just based off of the back and the amount of scratches on the back as well. But as we say in the business, since most of the damage is on the back, this is a great binder card, is the name of the game. But yeah, thank you Zero for that submission. AV, thanks so much for following the live. Appreciate you. And for those of you who are... Oh, Wicked, you sent me some corn. Appreciate it. It's just corn, nothing else. So yeah, so for those of you who are joining in for the first time, again, my name is Galaxia Gaming. Every Wednesday we do what's called a grade review, where we review community members' cards for free and give our general assessment on what they would get if graded with PSA. So it's a completely free service. I offer it in our Discord. If you want to know more, just let me know. I'll try to queue up a time to kind of run over how to submit and all that stuff. But always appreciate the support. and I'm always happy to nerd out with you guys and just look at some really cool cards at the end of the day. So yeah, let me... Zach, thanks so much for following the live. Appreciate it. Let me queue up. So next up we have Ace. So what does Ace have, guys? What does Ace have up their sleeve? Let's take a look. Because I have it in a way where I basically go top down, and I often forget on what is next. And then it's funny because I forgot who. And Joshua, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate you guys. Ooh, this one's a nice one. So with Ace, we have a Shining Celebi in pretty rough shape, but but we're going to assess it either way. Because that's what's nice about this, is that it doesn't matter what card you submit, you know, we'll do our best for you. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Bon. I love the old school shiny cards. Okay. So, but yeah, it is definitely in rough shape, so hopefully it's not too bad, but it's looking pretty bad. Alright, so centering is good. You got that going for you. However, I don't know if it'll come up on stream or not, but you can see that the top is, like, you can definitely see a lot of whitening on the front, which normally isn't a good sign. Because if you mostly see it on the back, but if you also see it on the front, it's kind of beat up. So all on this top edge, there's some whitening. On this left edge, right where my mouse is pointing, there's some whitening there as well. Some on the bottom left, some bottom right. The whole card is essentially all four corners and all four edges are whitened. The Celebi, and I'm actually glad that you took the picture the way you did, because Celebi specifically is super dark because it's shiny, so it's really hard sometimes to see a lot of the imperfections on Shining Celebi. So the angle in which you took the picture is actually really good. Because we had another one that was very hard to tell. But you guys could see it. Oh, excuse me. The Flying Onion definitely has some scratches all over its face. So yeah, so I'm very hesitant. Hopefully you guys are prepared, because the back is not going to look good. And there it is. Yes, Slim. I'll run over. Once this is done, I'll run over real quick on how to submit to grade review. So the back is in pretty rough shape. Ka is already noticing it, and you guys have already are as well. Yeah, this is in rough shape, guys. I don't know how else to tell it. The edges are pretty rough. The top's rough. The edges are rough. There is some dirt. I also think this is the first time I'm actually mentioning this, which is important to note. Kaylee, thanks so much for sharing the live. Appreciate you. Yeah, the onion definitely is expired for sure. So this little dirt mark, I would probably, if this were mine, like if I'm trying to clean some of that dirt off, I would just take a Q-tip and some distilled water and make sure that the Q-tip is as dry as I can make it, pretty much having like 5% moisture in the Q-tip, and very gently wearing off some of that dirt and grime to be able to remove that piece of dirt. Kaylee, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that as well. Celebi's still standing, man. She is tucked away in the pantry, sprouting a new leaf. She is that rough. Roar at the door, thanks so much for sharing the live, and welcome back. Nice to see you again. Appreciate the hearts. The nice way is to say this card has gotten some love, for sure. Yeah, this onion is definitely lost in the pantry, for sure. So yeah, let's start a new poll, and let's see what you guys think. So the poll should be active if you want to vote on what you think this Shining Celebi onion would get. There is the front. Most of the damage is on the back, so I'll just leave it on the back. But yeah, it's pretty rough. So while you guys are voting, I'm going to catch up with chat. Callie, thanks so much for following the live. Appreciate you. And if I've missed anyone that has liked, shared, and followed, I definitely appreciate it. Again, this is a completely free service that I offer to the community where I review people's cards for free. While you guys are voting, if you are interested in submitting your cards, I have a pinned video called Grade Review and How To. It has a Korokoro Mew on the thumbnail. Just watch that video. It's about a 30-second video. And it'll tell you everything you need to know about joining the Discord, what channel to submit. The one thing that I will say, since this has been a very popular service, which I'm very grateful for, is just make sure you pay attention to the rules on how to submit, and you do so by looking at the pinned messages. Because if I see a card that's in a sleeve or in a top loader, it makes it very difficult for me to actually review it. So just keep that in mind. All right, Callie, thanks so much for following the live. Kaylee, do you only do Pokemon or other cards as well? So as of now, Kaylee, it's primarily Pokemon. However, how I kind of review cards is, if you come here long enough, you kind of get a sense of like what I look for and what the community looks for. So you can definitely kind of carry that over into any other card as well. Because the only thing that the only Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I submitted a Dark Magician of Chaos not too long ago from Invasion of Chaos, as well as a Ghost Rare Blue Eyes from what is it, Ghost, like Haunted Mine or Ghost Mine or something like that. I can't remember. But I mean, in general, you know, but because my content primarily is that. But if you want to submit Yu-Gi-Oh and Ghost of the Past, Ghost of the Past 2. But if you want to submit Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm more than happy, depending on like what they are. I'm more than happy to look at them, because that'd be kind of cool to like look at some other stuff too every now and again. So yeah, go for it. Why not? Be the first. Be the first to submit a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Someone already submitted a One Piece card. All right, so on average, you guys are thinking 7 to 6. All right. So what do I think the Shining Onion is gonna get? So there's a lot of whitening on this card, both on the front and the back. I will say that right off the rip. The Celebi is scratched all over, you know, kind of hovering with my mouse here. There is a ton of scratches on the Celebi. But let's flip it over. The back is really where it's kind of struggling here. I don't have to talk about it, right? Like the amount of whitening all over this card is pretty intense. So when it's that intense, really, to kind of think out loud, normally how I start to think is if I see enough whitening, I'm at, okay, are there any creases or anything like creases or bends that would make this an instant 3 or 4? And from what I can tell, there is none. But the whitening is bad enough to where I think it would probably get the 5. I don't think it's bad enough to get the 4. But I'd probably say a 5 would be my guess for the Shining Onion. I think chat was very generous on this one. A little bit, but again, it's kind of tough to like, because I can't go like back and forth while chat. Like if you're kind of coming in late, it's kind of tough. But yeah, thoughts on grading non-standard Pokemon. I mean, I guess it depends on my big question is, why are you trying to grade it to begin with? If it's just for personal collection, why not? If it's for a return on investment or like resell potential, you just have to do your research. So it really just depends, honestly. AFK, semi-new here. Do you have videos showing how to clean cards before submitting or in general? I don't know if I'm trying to think if I have a video on it yet. I think I do. I think they're pretty old, so I definitely have to update them for sure. But I can definitely do another one now that I kind of, my video quality has kind of gone up a little bit over the years. So I might have to do another one. Yeah, I'll have to, if you're in Discord, just shoot me a DM, and if I have time, I'll try to try to tag you in the video that I'm thinking of. But yeah, all right. So that was Ace. So Ace, thank you for letting us see your beat up Shining Celebi. And now we're on to two cards that have been spiking in price as of late. Is the Umbreon V and the Gengar VMAX. These cards are, again, if you guys have not seen some of the prices of this stuff, they have been going through the roof. Which in my opinion has some degree of market manipulation going around. But yeah, we're still gonna look through it for sure. Sounds good, AFK. Alright, so this submission is from J-Word. So I don't know if you're still in here, J-Word, but this is your submission. The Umbreon VMAX Trainer Gallery is $60 now. Oh, that's good. Why not? Did you see the Beedrills are going insane? What, from Astral Radiance? They're like a $50 card now. Those Beedrill V alt arts. But again, I think a lot of that is just like, there's no way like legitimate people are gonna, like legitimate vendors are gonna buy at that price. Because there's definitely market manipulation to a degree. It's like, it's skyrocketing. There's like no rhyme or reason for it. All right. So Umbreon V. Will it get the 10? I mean, there's no scratches there. I don't see any. Richard, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate you. Let's see. So there is some fuzzies. Probably get rid of that. But the card itself, let's see. Let's take the ruler of truth here. Let's see if it's off center at all. Left side's a 1/4 inch. Right side's a 1/4 inch. The top is just at 1/4 inch. And then the bottom, if I can get it, is a bit thicker than a 1/4 inch. So unless it is just the angle, the bottom is thicker than the top. So in this case, it probably would not get the 10, but if you have a ruler in your possession, I would measure that for sure in person. Because that'd be the only thing that I notice on this Umbreon, besides some like white little specks that you can get rid of with a microfiber cloth. So I'd probably say if it's, definitely measure it for sure. But as it sits now, it'd probably be a 9, just by the centering from the bottom to the top. Okay, Gengar VMAX. Again, another card going insanely to the moon. So on these, so for those of you who don't know how to measure centering on these style of alt arts, you're really looking at the left and right towards the bottom. So like these like white sections is really where you're kind of looking at the centering. So I'm going to be measuring this white section compared to this white section. So let me do that now. So on my screen, I have a 1/4 inch on the left and a 1/4 inch on the right. So far so good. Other than that, looks good. Nothing standing out. The bottom, the first thing I noticed, the bottom does look a little chunky. The bottom looks chunky for sure. Yeah, because the top is almost a 1/2 inch on my screen. Or the bottom. The bottom is yeah, the bottom is much thicker. Is much thicker than the top for sure. So yeah, I would measure both of them, but as of now, I don't think those would get the 10s just because of them being off center. Hey Chris, how's it going? It was cool to see that recap video, huh? I had an absolute blast at that con. It was so much fun. And you got a sneak peek at the face reveal. Look at you. Okay. So J-Word. Yeah, so if you're still here, J-Word, I would highly recommend measuring the bottom to the top, because both on my end were off center, and I don't think they would get the 10. But again, I'm literally just pressing a ruler on my screen, so I could be totally wrong. But yeah. All right, so let me queue up the next one, which is Captain Ape, against some other really big chases. Got the Giratina V. And we have one in a slab that, now that I'm kind of viewing it, it's a little blurry. But we'll certainly take a stab at it for sure. Okay, so that one is not yours. Okay. I pulled a Team Aqua Kyogre and Magma Groudon. They're perfect. I have some. Yeah, I think that one too, because honestly, because I only really look at the thumbnail. And even kind of zooming in like this is actually really blurry now that I have it zoomed in. It's funny because he has the cert number there. But yeah, that one I might have to pass on, because this one's a little now seeing it on stream, and you guys can probably see the same thing. It's on my end, it's definitely too blurry. I don't think I'll be able to look at that one. So I'll just go do that. Okay. Giratina V. Beautiful artwork, as per usual. Centering on the front looking good. Centering on the back also looking good. So that's a pretty good 10 contender for sure. Dark Alakazam. So it looks like it's on top of the sleeve, so that's good. Yeah, Dumb. I remember, I forgot who it was. I think it was Ooze, I think, had some slabs that we reviewed. And that was, the biggest thing that I noticed, too. So maybe in hindsight, I might not do reviews on slabs on the stream, just because it's just so hard to differentiate, what's on the slab versus what's on the card. So I think that's actually a pretty good point. I'll have to make a note of that for sure. I want the pop number 11 for the Tenny on Kyogre. That'd be sick. It's a Dark Alakazam. It almost looks like the left side's a little bit thicker than the right. Let's see. And again, the Dark Alakazam's so hard to notice any scratches just because of how dark it actually is. But let's take a look on the back. It's a bit blurry. It's one thing I gotta note then is to kind of look at these in the browser view, because even if I look at it a little bit closer, let's do it this way, so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. Because the only thing that I see wrong with this, and it's kind of tough, is right where the tip of my mouse is. There's some whitened corners there, but everything else looks pretty good, honestly, for the Dark Alakazam. So unless there's some scratches that we can't see on the black section, the centering looks pretty decent. There's just some slight whitening on the top right, the top left, and then the bottom right hand corner, and possibly something here on that left side. I don't know if that's just a lens flare or what, but and I honestly can't see any scratches on the holo either. So I don't really know. Probably 8 or 7 would be my guess. But I just don't know if there's more scratches on the holo. That's the only thing. I'm honestly not too sure. That's definitely not the right picture. So I think like with that, with what I'm kind of looking at, unless this is like, so if this is not a lens flare, with like the whitening in the top left, top right, and then bottom right, I think enough of that would be a 7. But if it isn't a lens flare, you're probably looking at an 8. Would be my guess. But for first edition holo, it's pretty good for the dark Alakazam. So next up, we got Bushy BTW. And again, for those of you who are new here, this is grade review episode 16, where we grade review the community members' cards live and for free. Just to kind of give you a sense on what we think, both myself and the chat, think these cards would get if they were graded through PSA. So again, if you want to know more, there is a pinned video on the channel called Grade Review and How To. Just give that a watch. It's about a 30-second video, give you everything you need to know about how to submit, where to submit, and then more importantly, what the rules are for submission. So just make sure to watch those just so you don't get bumped down the queue. And yeah, super fun. Absolutely love doing it. So far, I definitely appreciate all the support that you guys have given me so far, with all the shares and likes and follows and engagement, all that fun stuff. It's definitely appreciated that you guys like this stuff. All right, so next on, we got Bushy BTW coming in with the Zard lineup. So we got the Charizard, the Mega Charizard EX for both evolutions and, yeah, the 2 variants for evolutions. And we got a Charizard and Braixen GX, if I'm saying that correct, promo. So let us begin with the Mega Charizard EX 101, 108. So one thing that I feel like our Discord has definitely been really going over is there's been a lot of discussion about XY era cards being faked. And so one of the biggest tells, which is good for this one, is that this card is textured. So that's probably like one of the best signs that a card is not fake. There's obviously some other ones that you need to consider, but one of the biggest factors is whether or not the card is textured. And so since this one is, then we're in the green, so we're chilling. So the centering of this Zard is looking good. I don't see any scratches. Do I have the Diamond Era Charizard? I do not. These actually aren't my cards. Damn, I'm not too sure if you just joined. This is one of the community members who's having their cards reviewed for a grade. But I don't. But yeah, the front of this card is absolutely beautiful. So let's flip it on over. Man, there's not really much to talk about here, guys, honestly. Which is a good thing. Because the less I talk, the better the condition is. We just do have some white specks kind of scattered around. So we have one, 2, maybe. They can probably be removed from, again, microfiber cloth. That's all you really need. Another one here on that right edge. But really good condition and really well centered based off what I can tell. So you definitely have if you can kind of get rid of those little white specks, you definitely have like a strong 9, possible 10 contender for sure. Because the centering, based off of what I can tell, again, you always should take what I say about measuring with a grain of salt, because I'm literally putting a ruler on the screen to measure, and based off of the picture and the angle, it's going to be different. But on the back side, you know, 1/4 inch on the left, 1/4 inch on the right, about a 1/4 inch on the top, as well as the bottom. It's very well centered. If you can get rid of those white specks, Has a pretty good shot at a 10 for sure. Solid 9, no doubt. But just how well centered it is, and based off of what I can tell from just the one picture on the front and the back, I would definitely submit that if you can clean those off, for sure. All right, so next up we have the other Mega Charizard EX from Evolutions. So let's take a look. So the other thing that I don't know if you're in here, but Dream Scythe made an amazing document that kind of highlights a ton of different fakes. And one of the biggest ones that fakes have an issue with doing for this card specifically, or not this card, but this style of EX, is they make the full thing hollow. So the text here is not holographic, where the text boxes are. So that's a really good sign that this card is genuine, which is a good sign. Damien, Tony, and Reed, thanks so much for the follows, guys. I appreciate it. I know, Smoking, for sure. Yeah, these old school EXs, man, they just are good. They're nice. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So the centering, obviously on the bottom, is going to be a bit tough to compare to the top, just for stream purposes. But I'm going to measure the left side as a 1/4 inch, and then the right side is also 1/4 inch. So the left and right are actually really good, and I'm not really seeing a whole lot going on the front. So, and the back, man, these cards are back to back are really good condition, which is great for you for sure. No white in corners, centering looks really good. I think the only thing that I see is a scratch here where my mouse is. I don't know if can you guys see that on stream at all? But that's really the only thing that I see. So I don't think it would get the 10 because of it. I'd probably still say a 9, just because of how good the rest of the card is. Because I think that this is just being highlighted by the flash and by the light. So I don't think that they'd like knock that down as like a PSA 8. I think this would still be a strong 9, unless that's like causing you more like surface issues or anything that we can't see. But judging on the front, I don't think it carries over from the back to the front, so I think we should be good. So yeah, I think this would be a pretty strong 9. I don't think it'd get the 10 because of it, but I'd still say 9 would be pretty good. Damien, thanks so much for following the live. Appreciate it. Sounds good. I'll catch you in a minute, Damien. All right, so the final Zard of Bushy's submission is the Charizard and Braixen GX tag team. We kind of talked about it before, but the tag teams were such a cool idea that Pokemon introduced. Honestly, I wish they kind of introduced them again, because in competitive Pokemon teams, versus like 1-on-1 2v2s are very common. So I thought it'd be really cool. It'd be cool if they kept doing it, but they just haven't. Chris, thanks so much for sharing the live. Appreciate it. And anyone that also has shared the live or liked the live, if I missed you, I apologize. I definitely appreciate the support. Tag teams are a lot more strict about the centering. Yeah, I definitely can tell, for sure. Because the thing that I've noticed, Dumb, is not only do you have to consider the silver border, but you also have to consider the centering of this black line as well, because some of it's like really easy to tell, like this black line is like super close to the artwork or not at all. That's kind of what gives it away for me. So like this, for example, this top part, this black line here is equidistant on the top, but it almost looks like this one on this left side is more pushed over to the right side. Yeah, as well as the yellow corner. So you basically have 1, 2, 3 different factors just for the centering alone, which is pretty crazy. It's like the only cards that actually have essentially 3 things to look at on the front when determining centering, which is kind of crazy. Which, thanks so much for following the live. Appreciate you. But yeah. But again, nice, beautiful card for sure. My personal favorite with like the tag team for the Charizard promos is probably the one with the Reshiram in their like the big collector's box. That one was super cool. But yeah, the left side does look a little bit thicker than the right this time around. But I don't see any. There's nothing notable on the front. And I don't know if these are like surface issues or if they're just like white specks that can be cleaned. I'm not too sure. Because I don't know enough about this card in particular if it kind of suffers the same fate like the Mewtwo does. So if you guys are, if you guys don't know, the Mewtwo GX, what is it from Hidden Fates? I can't remember. It's the Mewtwo, the one that it's in the test tube, has similar white specks in the bottom right hand corner. That's apparent on all copies. So I don't know if these white specks that are kind of around my mouse are those as well. I'm not honestly too sure. But if we can get these cleaned, then it's great. You can definitely get rid of those. But if not, then then it's whatever. But I think if you can get rid of these, I think you're looking at like a good 9. But if you can't, and they're not common for this card, you're probably looking at an 8. But if you can get rid of them, or if they are common, I have dots on my Tina like that. Yeah, because I just don't know. Because I don't know if this particular tag team has that as being common or not. Because if it's not common, then you're probably looking at an 8. But if it is, you're probably looking at a 9. Would be my guess. All right, so next up is Ashley. You couldn't get rid of that? Yeah, it's always tough. It's always tough to have like, because that's the one thing that I really try to drive home for folks is just because it comes from a pack does not mean it is guaranteed the 10. And this one, even though the back's a little bit blurry, we should be able to go get it. All right, so next up is Ashley with the Origin Form Palkia V-Star. This was a really cool, probably one of the coolest, like, this had like essentially 4 cards attached to it, right? So it had the Palkia, Dialga, Arceus, and the Giratina. Essentially all making one just massive looking artwork, which is really cool. So these cards are always super nice to look at. So again, since we're looking at modern, we're definitely just really looking at just centering and corner dings. The centering on the front of this looks really good, so let's flip it over. It's a bit blurry, obviously, on that left side, but we should be able to measure what we need to. They also use the gold and the artwork on those. Yeah, they're really cool art sets. So the right side is it's like, hold on, so it's man, it's like just over 1/4 of an inch. And then the left looks like just 1/4 of an inch. So unless the blur is causing me more issue, because I just don't see any like white, like noticeable white marks in the corners, so I'm not really worried about that. Really, the big thing that I'm worried about is whether or not this right side's thicker than the left. From what I can tell now, it does appear so, but excuse me. But I think if you just measure it on your own, if it's accurate, then you should be good. You should be chilling. For it to be the 10. But if it's not, if it's off center, then it'd probably get the 9, would be my guess. Damien, can I send mine? Yeah. We have reviewed, I think, 2 Japanese cards so far. So you're more than welcome to, for sure. How do you send? So if you go to my channel, I have a pinned video called Grade Review and How To. It's a 30-second video. If you watch that, it should tell you how to join the Discord, what channel to join, and the most important, because I had to tell this to a few people already, is just to make sure to follow the rules that are in the pinned messages, because it'll tell you like what the rules are and how to take pictures and all that stuff, because there are a lot in there. It's based off of a first come, first serve, since it's a free service. So I just don't want to bump anyone down because I have to essentially ask them to retake pictures. But all right, so next up we have Goji Poppy. So you are finally up. Hopefully your picture doesn't weigh down my camera or weigh down my monitor. So let's take a look. So the OG Charizard. Damien, if you just go to my TikTok channel, and it's a pinned video called Grade Review and How To. Just give that a watch, and it should give you all the right instructions. It's about a 30-second video. All right. So Charizard from base set. You know him, you love him. Some hate him, some fear him. Got a Fletch up there. But let us take a look. Alright, so the Zard himself. Let me first take... And if you're... Yeah, I think you're in here, Bond, so you might be able to help answer some questions in case we need it, which is always helpful. So the right side's a 1/4 inch. The left side is a 1/4 inch. Top is 1/4 inch, and bottom is just above a 1/4 inch. So far, based off of measuring, the bottom is slightly thicker than the top. So that is one thing we have to remember. But again, if you can do it on your own, you can let us know. If that's not true or not. Man, I am just yawning for no reason. Alright, so let's take a look. We do have slight hints of silvering on that left side. Corners look good though. Maybe some little dirt there in that bottom right-hand corner you can probably clean off. And as well as some dirt on that top border as well. Again, just use I keep saying microfiber cloth. So, a Q-tip, distilled water, making sure that said Q-tip is about, 5% humidity, and very gently removing some of that dirt and grime off the top part of the Zard, as well as that bottom right-hand corner, will drastically improve that surface score if you decide to grade it. But now, let's see. So there are obviously some scratches that we can see. For Rest, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Got some scratches by the feet. We got some scratches by the tongue and the tail. So let's flip it on over. Let's see. Have some whitening on the top, as well as that top left corner, as well as that left edge, and the bottom left-hand corner. The bottom has some whitening as well. So there is some whitening on the top and the bottom in the left corner, bottom left and the top left corner. But the surface on the back looks a little bit better than it did on the front with that dirt. So this one is always important to take a vote on. So chat, a vote or a poll should be active now if you want to weigh in on what you think this base set Zard would get. So we can do a community's consensus here. And Bond, thanks so much for sharing the live. Appreciate you. Fingers crossed, man. So there is the front of the Zard. And then there is the back. I set mine. How long does it usually take? I would say, because again, it's a free service, so there is a little bit of a demand for it. So I try to go through at least 25 a week. So on that pace, you're looking at maybe like 2 weeks. Because again, I just do this primarily, like unless I do like a spontaneous stream, but a lot of people like to be notified when I'm about to assess their cards. So when I do it kind of spontaneously, it makes it pretty rough. But I try to do it at least once a week every Wednesday. So probably as of now, the baseline is 2 weeks. But it's a pretty good condition for a vintage card. Yeah, I agree. You know, because vintage could be a lot worse. Be a lot worse. But yeah, the corners are where the corners and edges are where it's kind of getting taken back for sure. All right, so chat average is 7 to 6. So what am I thinking this Zardy boy would get? So I am going to give my assessment under the assumption that you can clean the dirt that I'm about to explain. So just kind of take that with, and as I'm looking, so here is some homework for you, Bond. I don't know, based off of the lighting of the picture, is there a dent here? I literally just caught it. I don't know how I saw it, but is there a dent or a crease or a bend here by the tip of the tail? Because the only reason why I'm thinking that is because based off of how the light is hitting this part of the card, there's a shadow here. And I apologize for not catching that sooner, but I'm glad I'm catching it now. So there is a small dent there. Okay. So if there's a small dent there, that has... Well, no, it's actually great, Bond, because if that light wasn't there, you wouldn't be able to see that dent. And dents have a pretty significant impact on grade. For those of you who have seen the Ivysaur video that I did where I resubmitted it when the first time it came back as a 3, I cracked it, resubmitted it because I truly could not figure out why on earth it got a 3 and it came back as a 3 again. And my assumption is that it's because of a bend. So if that bend is present there on the front, and I'm imagining it would be somewhere in this area. Oh man. Because I just know, man, how, just based off of just my limited experience with bends like that, for a grade, I'm probably thinking like a 4. Like a 5 to 4. In my honest opinion. I know it's kind of rough, but I just know that because the Erica's Ivysaur, man, it had like nothing wrong with it on the front and the back. But it had a bend almost as similar as this one, and it came back as a 3. So I, honestly, because of the bend, I'm probably going to say a 4. I know it's kind of bad news bears, but it is what it is and it be what it be. But if you get it graded, then I'd love to see if I'm wrong. I want to be wrong for you. I really do. But that would be my guess. So I apologize, chat. I literally just caught it. So But I appreciate you submitting nonetheless. Are you commenting under my Discord post your thoughts about what you think it would be graded? No. I do it in the stream, and then I let you know when I'm about to grade it. I do the assessment, and then if you have notifications turned on in the Discord, you'll get notified when the YouTube VOD goes up. Because if I commented everyone's grade in the Discord, it would take me forever. It would take me forever to get it done. So just watch the VOD is probably the best way. Or just watch the stream. Alright, so next up we have Static Smoke. So Static Smoke. Moonlight Cavern, thanks so much for liking the live. Appreciate you. Yeah, sounds good, Davey. Sounds good. Alright, so more modern stuff. I feel like we're kind of speedrunning this grade review tonight. There's a lot of, because normally when there's a lot of modern, just to kind of speak openly, there's really not much I need to dissect. Because again, modern is just, you know, taken such good care of. So, which is good, Alright, so next, we have the Suicune V. Centering looking good on the front. And centering looking good on the back. Yeah, I mean, this would be, I would say if you're looking for a 10, this is a pretty strong 10 candidate. Let me measure the back real quick. It's normally the back for centering that really kind of stands out. Half inch on the left, or quarter inch on the left. Quarter inch on the right. Quarter inch on top. And quarter inch on the bottom. So centering is good on the back. Quarter inch on, or slightly under quarter inch on the left, but slightly quarter inch on the right as well. So not too bad. So based off of my measurements on the front and the back, it actually looks pretty good. So we're chilling. All right, so let's see. So I just saw a few people asking how to submit, so I'm gonna run the quick video demo so you guys can watch how that's done. So this, I'm gonna show you a video on how to submit for grade review, so stay tuned. Wish you could get a second opinion on your cards before sending them out to be graded? Curious on what grade your cards might get? If so, submit a picture of your cards in our Discord to be reviewed for free during our grade review live streams. Here's what you need to do. First, go to www.galaxiagamingtcg.com. Second, in the socials section, click or tap on the Discord icon. Third, once redirected to Discord, go through the verification process. Once verified, go to the grade review channel. And finally, review the pinned messages for detailed instructions on how to submit your cards for review. So yeah, that's how you do it. Really easy, really simple. Again, completely free. Something I like to offer to the community. So yeah. David, thanks so much for sharing the live. Appreciate it. All right, so next up, we got Wicked cards, I believe, but I think I'm going to skip that one. So now it'd be Chris. You'd now be up. Let me get yours queued up here. The Gardevoir. And this is either in Chinese or Korean, I really don't know. Or Japanese. Honestly, I'm not too sure. Gardevoir EX from Paldean Fates. Such a nice looking card. Honestly, like out of the three, like the Mew EX, the Mew EX, the Charizard, and the Gardevoir EX, this one's probably my favorite. And look at this Wooper. Just like stunned. But, alright, so let us take a look here. So the centering of this is pretty good on the front. The only thing that I see, however, and it might be an illusion, so you might have to check Florida, is whether or not this is whitening on that bottom right edge. I'm not too... You're in chat, so you might be able to kind of help us out here. But that looks like some whitening, but it might not be. Okay, so if it is, it might not get the 10 because of that. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's on the front a bit. Oh, I see. Yeah. Like right here. But yeah, I'd probably say that'd probably get a 9 just because the centering on the front and the back is actually really good. But I don't think it'd get a 10 because of it. Okay, so this is Sean, I believe, right? So let's take a look. Centering on the Shauna is good on the front. The back also looks pretty good. Looks like a dull cut, yeah. But honestly, that's pretty good. The centering on the front and the back on this is actually looking pretty decent, which is really good. Does the side cut affect it anyway? If you're talking about the Gardevoir, it would, yeah. But this card's actually looking really good. If you can just kind of get rid of these, like, again, these little, like, white spots or these hairs, should be fine. Jungu, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you. But, yeah, I think this would have a pretty good shot at a 10. No doubt. Let's see. Alright, so those specs came off. Yeah, so this would probably be a pretty good one. Because the centering looks really good, unless there's some scratches that I can't see, but the centering on the front and the back are on point, so you're chilling. Awesome, Jungu. I appreciate the feedback. Yeah, I like to do this for free. You know, it's a nice, fun thing to give back to the community. So yeah, I mean, basically, I just keep doing it. Seems like the community really enjoys it, so I'm definitely super appreciative for doing. Ooh, Drake just joined. Personally, I thought Kendrick won the battle for sure, but you guys can debate that. It's like what everyone's talking about right now. Alright, so we are now in the bonus part of the stream because my queue is done. But there's obviously a ton more to go through. Because these I have not reached out to people for. So I have to... So let me do this. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. So we're going to do a quick poll. So I have two options that we could do. I could either A, continue my Pokemon Nuzlocke, or we can continue doing grade review. So I'm going to do a quick poll. So the smiling emoji is to continue grade review, and the crying emoji is to continue the Crystal Legacy Nuzlocke. So again, a quick poll should be active. You vote via emoji. Smiles is keeping on with the grade review, and then the crying emoji is continuing the Pokemon Crystal Legacy Nuzlocke. And honestly, there's another Nuzlocke that just was was redone by the same creator for Yellow. I might play that on Tuesday, because the crystal one was super good. So I might do that on Tuesday. I know, Roar. I saw that too. It's like, man, how could you do that to a Moonbryon? Like, what are you doing? I'm not allowed to say no. All right, well, the people have spoken. Okay, so you're going to have to bear with me for a second because I have to queue up. Obviously, I have to queue up new submissions. So I'm going to go to my BRB screen. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to keep on doing grade review. I just have to get the new submissions prepared. So just hang tight. I will be right back. One sec. So I've made this mistake before, but I'm just going to continue on going down the line here in the Discord. So we are in a rare situation where we are in kind of like the bonus round of grade review. So we're just gonna basically just keep on keeping on until we hit that 10 o'clock. So we got more than enough time. I'm just going to just let the Discord know that we are in the bonus part. In the bonus part of the grade review. More submissions that I didn't have a chance. You may be up next, everyone. Alright, so that's my really scuffed way of telling you guys that I'm in the bonus round of grade review. Because again, normally I like to notify everyone ahead of time if I'm going to be doing their cards, but since we have some time, we're just going to keep on chugging on. So, this one is by, let's see. I think it's Stellar again. Yes. I don't know why my camera, like, flew up. Yes, Tetelier, again, with the Misty. First edition Hollow Misty. It was pretty sick. Alright, so let's get right into it. There is some little bit of, like, dirt or grime. I don't know what that is. But probably get rid of that. Centering is really good, though. We do have some slight scratches on the hollow. Roar, thanks so much for sharing the live, by the way. I didn't mean to ignore that. Appreciate you. But yeah, so far so good. That angle doesn't really show me much, which is fine. Man, it's actually a really clean. This is really clean, actually. I didn't miss mine. What was your, I always forget what people's Discord names are, Fly. Hey, Trev, how's it going? Welcome back, welcome back. Flyaway Joker. I don't think so. I don't know if you were queued, but we're in the bonus round. So I might be reviewing yours tonight. I have no idea. I'm literally just gonna keep going until it hits 10 o'clock for me. So we're going in. We're diving deep. But yeah, this Misty is really clean. The only thing I really see on the back is just like whatever this like whitening is on the bottom left hand corner. But yeah, that's really clean. I'm not like, I'd probably say just from like the mild scratches alone on the card, and assuming you can probably get rid of these, there's probably like a strong 8, I imagine. That's taken really good care of. So let us mark that as done. So you'll have to give me some time here, because now that we're kind of in the bonus, I have to remember what cards I actually review in the Discord, just to not review twice. Because I've made that mistake. I've reviewed cards twice before. Let's see. Scans from current slab, excuse me, would like to cross over to PSA. We can... Let's see. So I'll just do this one quick, because I think it's more of just a centering question than anything. So this submission was by Solar. Scans from current slab would like to cross over to PSA. So I think for this one, really the big question is whether or not to get the 10 or not. Because anytime someone mentions crossover, that's really what they're asking. But I can tell, like, super quick, that left side is a bit thicker than the left side is thicker than the right. And yes, so the left is just barely over a 1/4 inch, and then the right is just under a 1/4 inch. So if you're trying to cross, so Solar, if you're trying to cross over to get a 10, this ain't it, Chief. The centering's a little off. And this is another reason someone brought it up. I think I might not assess slabs because, for example, I have no idea if this dot is on the case or on the card. Absolutely have no idea. So I am going to just say that it is off center on the front, and let me keep on keeping on. So another person who frequently submits to grade review is Unhandy Civic. So let me just make sure that I mark that down. So Unhandy Civic again. And it's kind of cool because he was able to submit a Kabutops EX both in English and in Japanese. So that's pretty cool. So, and I'm actually curious. I'm gonna do a quick poll. Do you guys like the e-readers in English or do you like them in Japanese? So the smiling is going to be in English and the crying is going to be in Japanese. So which e-reader do you prefer? The English, which is the smiling emoji, or the Japanese, which is the crying emoji? I'm really curious. So this is English if you prefer the English variant of the EXs, or the crying emoji if you prefer the Japanese. Me personally, I prefer the English, but and look, right, like tied right down the middle. Because I don't know, I just really like, and I think like the e-reader symbol is very like nostalgic for me too. But there you go. Got some more English e-reader lovers. So again, smiling emoji for the English, and then crying emoji for the Japanese on which style you prefer. I'm just curious more than anything. So 2 of you prefer the English. I personally like the English a little bit more than the Japanese. I just love the hollowed edges. I love the hollowed borders. They just look so nice. But yeah, so let's see. But the thing is, with the English, it makes it much harder to grade because there is so much more foil on this bottom part. So we have to keep that in mind as well. So let's take a gander. But so far, let me just kind of zoom in a little bit for you guys. This card is looking pretty good. Yeah, this card is nice, Roar. It looks like like I would honestly imagine this in like Team Rocket Returns or something. Like a Team Rocket set. Looks very dark and ominous. Corners, edges look really good. Honestly, not much. The front of this is immaculate. The front is really good. Dang, the back is also very good. So if I'm looking at Civic's messages in the Discord, he states English has very, very minor hollow scratching, which we can't see in this picture. I believe I counted 3. Pop probably missed some, while the Japanese had none. Yeah, I really can't see any scratches from that picture specifically. I believe you, I just don't see it. But the back, the only thing I'm really seeing, maybe no, because you said hollow scratches. And I also see some whitening in the bottom left, top left, possibly the top right, and then maybe some surface abrasions here. Because normally if it's like really white, it tells me that it's like a white speck. But this looks kind of faded. So it almost leads me to believe that that's a surface wear. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? What does chat think? I just started a new poll. If you want to vote on what you think this Kabutops EX would get from Sandstorm. I'm really curious. Because the front looks really good. The front looks really good. It's really just the back of these like little weird, like these weird little scratches on the right side. A little white ding in the bottom left corner. Have 2 white dots here on the right side that I don't know if it can get cleaned or not. I have no idea. But all in all, the card looks really good. In like really good condition. So you guys are thinking 8. So what am I thinking this Kabutops EX would get? The centering... Let me check the centering on that right side, actually. Now that I'm kind of looking at it a little bit more. So we got a 1/4 inch on the right. and then just shy of a 1/4 inch on the left. So it is a little bit thicker on the right side than it is on the left. And then obviously I'm not going to measure the centering on the top down because of the scanner. You can't do that. But the most notable things that I see on this card is a scratch here on the top right. We have a ding on the left, as well as the bottom left and the top left. Angie, is this card for sale? It's actually not my card. This is what we call grade review, where community members submit their cards for a free assessment on what we think it would get as a PSA grade. So that's what we're doing right now. So chat currently thinks that this card would get a PSA 8. So I'm currently doing my review right now. So I'm thinking so we have some whitening on the top left as well as the bottom left, and possible surface abrasions on this right side. But other than that, the card looks really good. So I would probably agree. I'd probably say an 8 as well. I don't think what we've seen is bad enough to warrant the 7, but a very good card nonetheless. All right, so now we have the Japanese version of the Kabutops. Literally the same exact card, but in a different style and a different language. So based off Civic's info here, can I submit a sports card? Probably not, only because I just don't have enough experience with sports cards, and the channel primarily gravitates towards like Pokemon collectors, so it wouldn't really be like the best fit. And I honestly don't know, because sports cards have so many different like stock variants and like how they're printed that I just simply don't have enough experience with. So if anything, I just don't feel comfortable, since I don't have the experience myself, to give you a proper assessment, truthfully. But pretty much everything that I'm talking about for Pokemon, most of it can kind of translate over. Because I know you've been here more like a few times. Yeah. So the short answer, I probably wouldn't review it on stream, just because, primarily it's a Pokemon channel. Stick in my lane, so to speak. Okay, so the first thing I notice about this card is that the left side is a bit thicker than the right. So 1/4 inch on the left, and under a 1/4 inch on the right side. So yeah, so it's a little bit thicker on the left than it is the right. So slightly off center. But on the top, let's see. So 1/4 inch on the top, and then 1/4 inch on the bottom. But the front again looks immaculate. Actually on the back it's a little off center. So on that right side it's a little bit tough. So Japanese for centering on the back is pretty tough, because you can kind of see, and I'll kind of use the magnifier here. You can kind of see where it kind of blurs in. Does the taste have a factor in grading? That'd be interesting if it did. Just PSA people just licking cards. Or like that one guy that taste tests ice cream that has the golden spoon. Maybe there's like a golden slab that they use to like put the card on and they lick it. Who knows? You never know. So yeah, so the left side, let's see what the left side is. So left side, trying to like find that like happy medium, is just shy under a 1/4 inch. But on the right side, it is just at a 1/4 inch. So I'm leaning more towards this card being off center, to where it'd get the 9. But I don't think it's bad enough to warrant the 8. So this one would probably get the 9, in my opinion. So that is Civic's. And so next we have Lost Poke J. First time doing this, I hope I read the instructions well. Well, you certainly did, my friend, because you are up next. And it's textured, which great. I don't have to worry about it being fake. Because, man, people fake Charizards all the time now. It is insane. Alright, let's see. So, like we were talking about maybe about a half an hour ago or some point, that these, like, tag team, the centering is very difficult because not only do you have the silver border to deal with, but you also have this black thick line to deal with as well. So that makes it very tough. However, this black line kind of looking, you basically have to do centering within the centering, and this black line's the silvering on the left and the right of it is pretty 50-50, to be honest. So that's really good. The only thing that I'm noticing though on the bottom, however, is that the black line is more towards like the inner edge as opposed to the outer edge. But other than that, the card looks in really good shape, as well as the back. The center on the back looks really good. So yeah, I'd probably, because I don't know. Let's see. I'm just trying to look here. I'm really trying to see if there's any weird scratches or weird abrasions or anything like that on the Zard, because Zards tend to be looked at under a much closer eye. So we really want to make sure that we check as much as we can on this Zard. But yeah, the Zard is in really good shape, so I'd say a pretty good 10 contender. Solid 9, 10 contender for sure. Because a lot of those black lines are in really good positioning. So Lost Poke, that is a card I'd probably submit for sure. All right, next up, I think this is the first time we've actually seen this card on stream, which is the Ancient Mew promo by The Real Skip. So The Real Skip in Discord says, hoping I can get a grade 10 from this card. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look and see if this warrants the 10. So we only see one picture of the front and on the back. So we have to be very careful with what we say here, because this entire card is hollow. Just putting that out there. So the left side is 1/4 inch. The right side is 1/4 inch. Top is just shy of 1/4 inch. And the bottom is just above 1/4 inch. So what I can tell, again, this is something that you need to do yourself as well because of the angle and all that stuff, but the centering, from what I can tell, is thicker on the bottom than it is on the top. Norse, how do you differentiate between a 9 or a 10? So what I'm doing, Norse, that you can't see, is because I have a ruler in my hand that I'm physically pressing up against my monitor to measure the ratio of the centering. So to do that, if you're unfamiliar, is you measure this. So like say this is 1/4 inch on the left, it should be 1/4 inch on the right. Same thing with the top. If it's 1/4 inch on the top, it should be 1/4 inch on the bottom. So 50-50 ratio. But if it's like 1/2 inch on the left and 0 on the right, then it's considered off center. So those are the little bits that start to separate what's a 9 and a 10, is small little things like centering or surface wear or corner dings. So based off of this picture, because we really can't see any scratches from here, but just from centering alone, it's a little bit off center on the bottom. But a few of your TikToks where even with a good centering, you still say a 9 with no yeah, I mean, there's probably some other issues. Normally, I'm pretty hesitant to call anything a 10 because there are so many other factors that come into play. But generally, that's what I look for. Because like I'll say like a strong 9 contender and then potential 10 in most cases. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, there have been a very few that I've said like, yeah, like that would be a 10. And one of like we've only had one example of coming back and coming as a 10. But just because there's like, honestly, I think I'm a little like, just to be completely transparent, like I feel like I'm kind of gun shy of calling stuff 10s because so many people on social media do it, call everything 10s. And kind of that's like their big like, oh my god, this would be like a $2,000 card if it's a 10 because everyone calls everything a 10. And I really want to do my due diligence. So the bottom is definitely over a 1/4 inch for sure. So the bottom is also thicker than the top. So I don't think this would probably get a 9 would be my guess. Just because it's bottom heavy, like what Giant's saying. Would you say that there is no perfect 10, that every 10 is a strong 9 that the grader is flipping a coin on? I guess it really depends, Norse, because there are some that have really good like because again, it's tough, especially when like for me, because you have to like if I had this stuff in person, I would definitely be able to be more confident in calling stuff 10, because again, I'm for centering, all I'm doing is just pressing a ruler against a monitor, like my screen. So based off of how the picture's taken, what angle is taken, I can only measure it on a 2D plane. Where if I had it in person, I could actually put it on a 2D plane and actually put a ruler or a centering tool on top of the card to really have that accuracy. So I think there is the perfect 10 because that's, you know, again, that's why black labels exist for Beckett or CGC, because they physically measure like by the centimeter on it being a 50-50 ratio and having nothing wrong with the front and no corner dings or anything. So like, are there cases where it is quote unquote like a coin flip? Sure. You know, I've definitely seen it. But again, you know, I'm measuring centering on a computer screen. You know what I mean? So it's kind of tough. That's why personally I don't like to give 10s doing these. Like I give like, you know, I think it's a good strong possibility. But again, I'm only measuring on a computer screen. Ooh, Skip has some more. So let's get some of these in here. A nice little Gen 2 spread. A little bit of Dark Blastoise at the end. So let me mark these here. So we did that one. We did that one. Yeah, Fly, I'm chilling. It's nice, like, I'm having a good night in the sense that, that a lot of the cards that have been in this, like, queue tonight have been in just immaculate condition. You know, because most of them, like, most people are like, oh, I'm just looking to see if it's, like, going to be a 10 or whatever. You know, and all I can do, again, all I can really do is just measure centering, to a degree. But it is definitely nice to have an opportunity to kind of catch up in the queue, because I've been, like, looking at a lot of these, and man, like, it's pretty tough to catch up, but in a good way. I'm definitely not complaining, because I thoroughly enjoy doing it. So, all right, so Pichu. Yeah, it's fun, Fly. I love it. I really do. Sounds good, Chris. Thanks so much for sticking around as long as you have. I appreciate it. Alright, so let us take a look at the Pichu. Let's see if the right side... Let's check that right side. Shall we, chat? 1/4 inch on the right side. And 1/4 inch on the left side. Slightly above a 1/4 inch on the top. And slightly 1/4 inch on the bottom. So centering from my measuring on my monitor is looking to be pretty good. So, what do we see on the front? So, the only thing I see so far is just some very mild scratching in this top left-hand corner. But not too bad. Other than that, the card looks really good. Scott, thanks so much for following. I appreciate that. But the back is where we're starting to kind of take some points off. So, let's see. So, we have some whitening there on the top left. And Witch, thanks so much for liking the live. Appreciate you. Yes, we got some corner dings on the top left. Have some whitening on that left side, as well as the bottom left. Giant left heavy on the back. Definitely looks to be. Let's measure it. Yeah, so about just over a 1/4 inch on the left and at a 1/4 inch on the right. So yeah, a little bit left heavy for sure. What's a good way to clean the cards? So what I do, which is I just use a Q-tip in distilled water, like what Giant's saying. Just stick the Q-tip in the water, dry it to where it feels like 5% moisture, and then just very carefully kind of take care of like dirt and grime. One thing that I strongly advise not to do, if you're trying to grade or sell cards, is using card wax, because the CEO of PSA directly made a tweet stating that any use of chemicals or abrasive compounds is considered alterations. Like, it's not me saying that, it's literally someone in PSA directly quoting that using such materials is considered alterations. So, where damp Q-tip, you're just getting rid of dirt and grime, you're not using card wax. So, but if you're using card wax for your personal, that is what it is. But for me, since I do it since I grade part of my business, I'm not a big fan of taking that risk. Glad I found you. Love these streams. Awesome. I appreciate it, Norris. Thanks so much for the good vibes. Yeah, it's just a fun thing I like to do, on Wednesdays, and I like offering it to the community. I think there's enough rip and shippers and people trying to sell you stuff on this platform that it's just kind of nice, a little bit of a breath of fresh air, nice little change of pace, and just kind of talking with chat too. So I definitely appreciate that feedback for sure. But yeah, going back to the Pichu, I definitely think this left edge and some of the corners is kind of taking us back here, unfortunately. But yeah, let's see what you guys think. I just started a poll in chat. If you want to vote on what you think this card would get, should be in the top left-hand corner of your device. If you want to take a vote on what you think this Pichu would get. So again, that is the front of the Pichu, and then that is the back. More of the damage is on the back than it is on the front, so I'll kind of leave it on the back just in case if you guys want to vote. Cleaning cards, no. TG. I'm actually reviewing community members' cards for free that submit them for a grade review. So basically what we do is that we review cards and chat will give their general assessment of what they think the card would get. And then I give my assessment. So we kind of do like a combined average on what we think it would get. What days are you on? So my consistent schedule is Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So Tuesdays start at 6 o'clock. And Wednesdays start at 7 o'clock Eastern. And then sometimes I'll have like sporadic, like random streams. So if you follow the Discord, I'll always notify the Discord on when I go like live for more of like a spontaneous stream. But my dedicated times for streaming is Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Where's the Discord? So if you go to my website, Norse, so the website is galaxiagamingtcg.com. So it's the exact same as you see my username. In my social section, there should be a Discord icon that you can just click and it'll join. You'll automatically join the Discord. So you'll get a link. And then for submission, there's a grade review channel. And the big thing that I cannot stress enough is just to make sure that you review the pinned messages, because it gives you the instructions that you need to follow when submitting your cards. Because some people submit cards in like sleeves and stuff, and it's really hard for me to assess a card that's in a sleeve or in a top loader, as well as being in like a really bright or blurry background. So as long as you follow those, you should be fine. But all right, so chat is thinking 7 to 6. So honestly, I think you guys are pretty spot on, honestly, because the front looks really good. The centering on the front was good, with some slight scratches in the hollow here in the top left-hand corner. But besides that, it's really the stuff on the back that we need to worry about, which is a more noticeable curled edge on that left side. Have some whitening on the bottom left as well as the bottom right and the top right. So if there wasn't that much whitening, I'd probably be more confident to say it would be a 7. But since this one is a bit aggressive, I'd probably say a 6 as well, would be my guess for the Pichu. But Pichu's just vibing. Alright, so next we got the Entei Japanese. Someone was asking if we review Japanese, and lo and behold, here we are reviewing a Japanese card. So I do too, Giant. This card's really nice. But so before I review this Entei, I'm just going to go grab some water real quick, because I have been yapping the whole time and I have not grabbed water. So let me just be right back. This should only take about a minute. So not 10 minutes, it should just take a minute. So I will be right back, chat. I promise. Dang, look at that. Made it back just in time. I always feel like I succeed in life when I run back to the microwave and I end it right before it hits the 0. It's all good, Fly. It is all good. That's what's kind of nice about, you know, having like this being a free service, because it's like totally chill, you know, as long as people understand that, you know, I'm not like grading this stuff like instantly, the moment someone submits, it's like I need this graded today. It's like it's a free thing I do, like calm down a little bit. You know what I mean? I just do it for fun. I'm not trying to, because I don't want it to be ruined either. So but yeah, I got you, Fly, no worries. Alright, Entei. Yeah, exactly, Fly. I just like doing it, man. Like, I talk about this kind of like to go off on like a tangent. Bond, thanks so much for sharing the live. Hey, Betty, come on now. Tell me right now what my card's gonna get. I have to submit it tomorrow to pay for my house. Tell me now, Mr. Streamer. Tell me now. What am I gonna get? Yeah, honestly, I just really like doing this a lot, more so selfishly, to where I get to like look at really cool cards that I just personally don't own. and just nerd out a little bit, you know, because for doing this as like a business, you know, sometimes you kind of lose a little bit of that kind of that shine when it comes to collecting, because like I have to really focus on like having like a good steady stream of like return on investment kind of mindset. So it's nice to kind of be like, oh wow, I really like that card, it's so cool, whatever. It's cool to just like talk about it versus like, okay, you know, this is near mint, it's this much, I have to buy it at this much. It's just a nice, like for me, it's a nice like mental break to kind of go back and forth. So, but anyway, so centering on the left looks a bit thick for sure. Left is about 1/4 inch. The right is just under 1/4 inch. So yeah, it's a little bit thicker on the left than it is on the right. Top down looks good though. I am seeing some scratches on the bottom left side. So right there, but not too bad though. Flip it over. We are seeing some whitening on the edges. And again, if you guys are going to be submitting, if you haven't submitted yet, if you submit your cards on a black background, it makes it so much easier to see the white edges, to give as accurate as a review as possible. And this is why. So like all this right side, there's a lot of whitening, top left, top center, left edge, some abrasions here. But the centering is actually pretty good, because the centering on, if you guys have ever tried measuring centering on old school Japanese cards, you essentially just use this red line that they have on the background. And me personally, as someone who does grade, it's nice to have that red line versus modern, where it kind of blurs the edge. Just tuning in. How do we submit to get it looked at by you? So Fishing TV. So if you go to my profile, so my TikTok profile, I have a pinned video called Grade Review and How To. So if you just watch that, it's about a 30-second video. It'll tell you everything you need to know on how to join the Discord, what channel to join, and most importantly, the rules that need to be followed. More so just like, you know, taking it out of the sleeve and whatever. So yeah, it's a completely free service, so definitely check that video out. Alright, so what do you guys think this Entei would get? A poll is active now if you want to check on what you think this card would get. So poll should be active on the top left-hand corner of your device. So there is the front. Again, like what Giant was saying, the front is a little bit on that left side. It's a tad bit thicker than it is on the right, so it's a little bit left heavy, with some scratches near the chest of the Entei, as well as some whitening on this right side and left side, and some of the corners as well. There's basically whitening all over the back of this thing. So I remember, Giant, thanks so much for liking the live. Yeah, I remember, like, growing up as a kid, like, not realizing that, like, when the dogs got released out of the burn tower in the games. Because I was always just so used to, like, the legendaries being late game. It's like, oh, like, I have a level 20 whatever, like, Raticate or whatever. And, oh, there's a level 50 Entei. It's like, oh, I'm about to get my shit pushed in. Alright. Chat thinking 7-6. And then it just leaves. It just runs away. Okay. So, Entei. What am I thinking? Definitely off-center on the front. Thicker on the left than it is on the right. Some scratches on the front as well. Let's flip it over. Whitening is pretty apparent on the right edge, as well as the left edge. Some whitening on the top right corner, and some scuffs on that left edge, as well as some dings on the bottom left. So do I think it is either a 7 or a 6? Because you guys are pretty spot on in that range for sure. Whether it's a 7 or a 6. I just think, like, just for the amount of whitening on this right side, as well as the left, I would probably say a 6 as well. Good job, chat. Alright, so next up for the real skip, we got ourselves a Dark Blastoise Holo from Team Rocket. Wow, chat, so cool. We had Dark Charizard, and now we have Dark Blastoise. Ooh, say it with me now, chat. Ooh, Dark Blastoise. Ooh. I don't know why I turned into a ghost, but he is big vibing. Ooh, Dark Blastoise. Ooh, spooky boy, who's weak to a little bit of electricity. Boo hoo. I can't walk on a carpet because I'll get shocked with static electricity. I'm weak. Boo hoo, says the Dark Blastoise. I can't handle static electricity or I'll pass out. Boo hoo. So dramatic, the Dark Blastoise, am I right? Or am I right? That's what I'm saying. Can't walk on a carpet without falling over like a soccer player. Alright, Dark Blastoise from Team Rocket, Holo. What are we thinking? Centering looks really good, like what Giant's saying. Just a tad bit left heavy, eh? Alright, Giant. You know, every time you say that, I have to bust out the ruler, so the ruler is coming out. So let's see. Oh, just a bit, he says. Let's see. So on the left, slightly thicker than a 1/4 inch. It seems like, based off of like how I zoom in, the 1/4 inch is like the de facto, which is really nice. So, wow, look at Giant, wow. Thicker on the left than it is on the right, based off of the picture that we are seeing right now. The Holo is actually looking really good. I don't really see, based off of the picture, I see no scratches. So that's really cool. On the back, however, where it always brings people down, is the corners and the edges on the back side. Always the downfall of most in these grade reviews. Got a little bit of a second wind, chat. I don't know where that, I think that came from me talking shit about a Dark Blastoise for whatever reason. Alright. But, yeah, top left. Top left, pretty good. Bottom left, or I'm sorry, top right, pretty good. Top left has some whitening. Bottom left has some whitening. Bottom right has some whitening. As well as the bottom right having a scratch as well. Giant saying top heavy. Really, needing my ruler to be flexed here. Let's see. Definitely over a 1/4 inch on the top. And yeah, top heavy, correct. You are correct. Alright, so what do you guys think the Dark Blastoise who is afraid of a little bit of a static electricity? What do you think this Dark Blastoise would get? Poll should be active on your device now if you want to vote on what you think this Dark Blastoise would get. And for those of you who are coming in, welcome. This is Grade Review, episode 16, where we review cards for free on whether or not, or whether they get a good PSA score or not. We try to assess as much as we can. It's a completely free service, and that is what we're doing right now. So welcome. Welcome in, welcome in. And of course, chat's going to tie the boat. And make it difficult for me to determine which one wins. So kudos to you, chat. You're going right down the line. Because 3 of you say 8, and 3 of you say 7 or 6. With 1 saying 9. So who will be the deciding vote on whether or not it's an 8, 7, or 6? I have no idea. But don't make me vote for you. Unless Betty, the lurker, the mod, has something to say about it. They can swing the vote at any point. Because she cannot vote in the poll. Because for whatever reason, TikTok says that has too much power to vote as a moderator. And of course, someone votes a 9. So the tie has not been broken. So we have 2 votes for 9, 3 votes for 8, 3 votes for 7 or 6. Of course, Fly has to be the outcast and go 9 and continue to split the vote. Alright, I stopped it. 7 or 6. You guys are a bunch of goobers. Alright, Dark Blastoise. 7 or 6. What do I think it is? So there was some centering issues that we saw both on the front and the back. Very slight, but they were present. The good thing is that this card is what we like to call in the business a great binder card, because there's absolutely nothing major wrong with the front of this Dark Blastoise. However, on the back, when we flip this bad boy over, just sent in my first ever submission. That's awesome, Junior. Like submission to the Discord or like PSA submission. Both of which are sweet. Well, I'm assuming you probably meant Discord, would be my guess. But anyway, the back. The back really just has a few whitening, but not that bad though. Centering is a little off. The top is a little bit thicker than the bottom. Nothing wrong with a little bit of thickness. Top left, a little bit of whitening. Bottom left, a little bit of whitening. Bottom right, a little bit more. You kind of notice that a little bit more. As well as some slight scratching in that bottom right corner. So, what do I think this card would get? So the big question is the back bad enough to be considered light play? And I, for one, do not think so. So, when I say that, I think that this card would probably get a 7, in my honest opinion. I don't think it's near mid plus, but I don't think it's light play. So I think near mid, I think this is a strong PSA 7 would be my guess. So yeah. So with 5 minutes left, $155 PSA 7. Look at you. The person that defines the centering and the price guides. Giant coming in hot. Appreciate you, Giant. So yeah. So that was the little bit of the bonus part of the grade review. I honestly, like, I knew there was a lot of modern cards in tonight's submissions, but man, we were flying. We made a pretty good dent because we've been having a pretty large. If you guys have been here for a little bit, we've had a pretty significant queue. That I kind of felt bad because I've been having to like push people's out for like 2 weeks because I only do these like primarily on Wednesdays. So honestly, tonight was really good to kind of catch up. So I'm glad you guys wanted to continue doing this. So if you guys have made it this far, you guys get to hear some of the fun announcements that are coming up. So again, if you join the Discord, you kind of see these more. So I always encourage people to join the Discord. I try to make as many announcements and try to update people as much as I can. Fish, thanks so much for following the live. Appreciate you. So some main events coming up is I have a card show coming up on May 18th. Because I just finished a card show last week, May 4th and May 5th. It was actually a Comic-Con. So I finished that up. I have the VOD of that, day 1 and day 2, hopefully coming out sometime next week. Because there is so much footage that I have to go through. It is insane. I probably have like 500 gigs of footage, of raw footage, that I have to break down into a video and clips and stuff. So looking forward. And you guys get to see my face for the first time. Ooh, Galaxia Gaming face reveal. Ooh, So that'll be fun. But the show in May 18th, I have some other cards that I have to process and get ready to sell. And then I'm going to kind of take you guys along with me there again as well to do another POV, vendor POV. So that one's going to be more collector based. So I anticipate more bargaining, buying collections, selling more slabs. Because the last show, since it was more Comic-Con, there wasn't as many PSA slabs as I was expecting to sell. But a lot of raw stuff, a lot of raw singles. And if you saw some of my posts throughout the week, there are some cool cards that I picked up. So we got that going on. And then I'm kind of working out the final parts of it, but I have a monthly giveaway that should be starting hopefully next week as well, to give away a free t-shirt that I make for my business, which is really cool. Just that more of like just a general appreciation. I try to do a giveaway once a month. So that should be announced in the Discord hopefully next week. Again, I have to work with a few other people because I'm trying to do like a collaboration kind of thing. But other than that, I've said it once, I've said it 10,000 times, and I'll say it 10,001 more times. I forgot about the Eve cosplay. You know what, Betty? That's true. I have to actually buy a skin tight suit for being a pilot, and I gotta slip into that bad boy. And you guys can assess if I'm well centered or not. If I'm off center, you have to let me know. Hopefully I should be centered. Or how the surface, if I have any surface wear. But yeah, super stoked for that. So you guys get to see a face reveal hopefully next week if I finish my POV. For those of you who have also seen some other videos, my face is already out there. But yeah, so going back to what I was saying, I always appreciate you guys showing love and support for this style of content. I honestly, if I'm going to be honest, we're already at grade review episode 16, so we've done this 16 times already, which is huge. And so the fact that you guys keep coming back and enjoy just kind of, chilling out, relaxing with me, like towards the tail end of your night or whatever, really does mean a lot. It really does, because again, I don't really sell much like on TikTok. I really like to do this just because I don't see a lot of people doing it. And I'm glad that you as the community enjoy this enough to come back. And I really do appreciate it. More than you know. So yeah, so definitely check out the Discord and follow the TikTok as well for when I go live next and for other future videos and updates, because I have some really fun stuff planned. Keeping on. So super stoked to get those VOD videos out for sure. Super excited to do the POV stuff. So yeah, you guys are awesome, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.